excited because there's going to be a DLC, right? I don't know when the news is going to happen. We're waiting for that, of course, but a lot of a lot of events, also, organized and created by Rising Empires as well. But definitely an exciting year for REW4. I mean, you might not everybody gets to become a player or a caster and have those fun times hanging out with some beers post land, but you can definitely watch and be part of the fun, part of the game. But yeah, it looks like we are able to get in the game just now.
Yeah, we have loaded up, and we are in. I've got my vision right now on SAS in the blue as Jeanne d'Arc, and right across the way on Dry Arabia, Valdemar in the yellow as the Chinese. Yeah, we had good attendance at King of the Rock. It's like people who came by to just hang out and observe. Like casters were mingling with them. We're all together. All went out to the bar across the parking lot on the last day and had a couple of beers. It was real good. It was a real fun time.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing better than to spend time with people like-minded people who love the game, right? It's kind of a
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's great on Twitch, but to be there in person at a LAN event, you know,
Yeah,
probably a whole different ball game.
totally,
In
totally different
terms of
environment.
what was I gonna say? Yeah, the spawns. SAS also has this double deer situation where they're right next to each other, which can be a blessing and a curse. So I'm not sure what Valdemar is going to plan for in feudal, but he could try to mass units and deny that deer. But this is not French, this is JD, so it could just be more of a defensive. Try to sneak in some deer and try to go up to castle. I mean, it's also good for SAS because you only have to defend one place, right? And then you can actually look for
Mm-hmm.
aggressive with your knights and try to steal the opponent's deer instead. Um, but yeah, not bad. A pretty good spawn for China, and obviously for SAS, it's not as important because you're going to be the aggressive player. But um, yeah,
Yeah, China pretty happy with their gold way in the back, and then they're talking about the deer packs that SAS can maybe come over and try to contest. Those also feel pretty far away and safe to me. Like they seem very
yeah.
close to Valdemar. It's gonna be feels like it's gonna be difficult to really contest them, and much easier for Valdemar to defend.
Unless SAS goes for the Valdemar Tower Rush, right? Behind the opponent's base and
Yeah.
a wall and a keep and everything like that, then it might be difficult. But all things considered, it looks like if it's a normal situation, Valdemar should be able to secure, especially because he's the you know behind the opponent's base tower rusher, right? So you should be able to defend that no problem.
Yeah, he knows. He
He knows the
knows what's
tricks.
going on with that. He knows the tricks. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if it's a normal game, we wouldn't see that. But after last game, normalcy is not guaranteed. This game's starting out normally. We'll see where it heads to. SAS is moving into the feudal age with 3 on the School of Cavalry. And on the other side of the map, Valdemar dropping his Imperial Academy.
Looks like Valdemar's going for Song Dynasty maybe because there's only 3 on gold and the one on age up. It kind of just looks like the OG kind of Song Dynasty build.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I mean, I don't play much China, but I felt like, as far as I've seen, it's more of a age up with Imperial Academy, and also get Pro Scouts right away, and then go for the, Song Dynasty a little later kind of situation. But looks like Valdemar wants to secure his base first and get that passive eco advantage, and then make whatever play he's going to make, right? And like you
Yeah,
said,
look
3
at
on the
that.
age up for. Oh,
Yeah, threw in the age up for the School of Cav, and like you were talking about, heading for Song. You called it. Valdemar dropping that barb, gonna block off that easy access to his base through the wood line there. So it will
I
be.
think the idea is because he has back resources, he just wants to secure the wood line just to kind of eliminate any um, chance that he takes damage, and then kind of play from there. Because like I said, the only exposed position, and it's not even that exposed, is his forward wood line, right? Other than that, everything is kind of nice and safe.
Yeah, everything really neatly in the back to the north. Basically everything, like berries too. Berries, gold, more deer, more gold, more berries. Everything's back there.
Yeah, that's the kind of dream China spawn,
Yeah.
especially against JD.
Well, SAS has his work cut out for him. First night's on the field.
Yeah.
Pro Scouts is being researched right now.
And tower on the gold, and after that tower goes up, there's literally nowhere SAS can do anything. So a lot on wood. So there's no pro scouts queued for Valdemar just yet. So might just be kind of the OG China kind of, you know, but yeah, a lot on gold as well. It could just be a fast castle actually, but the problem is a lot on wood, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll see how it develops. SAS scouting out the Barbican with that knight. Take a couple shots. We'll find the deer packs. It's going to be tricky to bring, especially the one way in back home. You're going to have to manually path that around. Otherwise, you're walking through a free fire zone there. But SAS is setting up back there. He's brought the knight around. Scout is there as well. They're looking for targets, but they are not going to find much in the way of vulnerable villagers.
Yeah, SAS has 2 knights and stopped production of knights and just going ham on the scouts, which is because there's nowhere to hit, right? So I think SAS is just trying to get because he already has pro scouts completed. He's obviously much further ahead on the pro scouts race because Valdemar went for the Song Dynasty and also a tower on the gold. But he has his barracks, he has his stable. I think with the barracks, he's going to try to defend his own deer and then go for the pro scouts as well.
Yeah, and you can see him grabbing quite a few deer to the north. Oh, one scout is coming back on the way back empty-handed. Knight not able to find anything going on the gold mine. No damage to the villagers there. And Valdemar, for the time being, gonna sneak one of those deer out from SAS's side and bring that back. But right about to walk in the path of that knight. Yeah. Quick reaction. Able to drop the carcass. You see Joan use her Q. Really chunk that scout for a lot of damage, but the rest of those units aren't going to be able to catch up. So the scout survives. The deer pack is dropped. Oh my goodness, the scout taking a dangerous route back. Gonna run past another knight, but I think he'll get there. Charge not gonna be enough to bring him down, and the scout is gonna run past the TC and stay alive.
I think SAS got 1 deer from that back deer from Valdemar, but other than that, everything's probably gonna be pretty safe. Yeah, I mean, I guess Valdemar does lose out on maybe a deer carcass or 2, but with this opening, he's just so safe in terms of... but there's some idle time on the mill, though, because of the... Ooh. Yeah, I'm not sure if if it survives. That'd be a big pickup.
Almost there. Double charge on that IO, just not enough to seal the deal. Loses a knight for that attempt and is now going to be forced back to his base. Valdemar going heavy into Horseman Spear. We're about to have the 4th knight on the field for SAS any moment now. Horseman, though, focused on just annoying, trying to chip away at Joan's health here.
Might get the kill, actually.
Yeah.
So, especially because, I mean, get the heals comes in and it's kind of close, but not really close. Especially because this is Archer JD, right? So Horsemen fare really well. Now Valdemar can fight with these spears, right? There's no experience situation. And I mean, look at the villager difference. There are 8 villagers and it's 9 minutes into the game, right?
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. And the fact that, both players at this point do have pro scouts, so they are going to collect scouts on both sides, but SAS loses a bunch of knights. They get stuck on the spears. That feels like just a major loss.
Yeah, I think what 2 knights and 1 knight under the TC, so definitely a lot of losses in terms of military. And behind this, there was some idle time on the mill for Valdemar, but it looks like because he's now on the short or closest to your pack, then he's fine. Yeah, a lot of spears, and I think the SAS bought JD back just because, you know, under pressure you want that experience. SAS actually trying to steal the deer and at least doing a good job of moving the deer in an annoying spot so he can kind of contest it with his army. But still, the villager difference, already 10 villagers, right?
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. Song Dynasty paying off majorly, and take a look at the resources per minute between both of our players.
Yeah.
Valdemar, food per minute over 1,000. SAS is just under 400.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe he doesn't have as many. But then also, you have the supervised, right, mill. So it's going to even more income. A lot of double supervised mill. There's a lot of people on food. You're obviously making a lot of food heavy units, spearmen, and you got a dead scout in the middle.
We got a little engagement here. Joan able to snipe off another horseman. That's 2 horsemen down. 24 experience going to Joan. They're able to pick off some of the spears on the retreat. Saw that fire arrow come out, do a bunch of damage to one of those spears. And the pathing on the way back may allow another spear kill here. Knights charging in. Spears will turn around. Will catch one of the knights, but not enough to kill it. And another spear will fall for Valdemar as he is going to be chased back to the safety of the Barbican.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, as Shang don't want to make too many horsemen because just knights, archers are just kind of better in this scenario. Horsemen just kind of to raid a little bit and be annoying, but Valdemar's already getting some farms up, actually. He's also aging up with the Imperial Palace, kind of just to make sure he knows where the opponent's villagers are. SAS is putting pressure, and I mean, it should still be relatively safe because there's the TC and Barbican in this spot. It's not somewhere you can push in feudal, right?
No, not at all. I mean, it's so well defended, and I mean, even if you did have like triple the knight count, there are enough spears in here to really slow down what you want to do. And SAS is gonna move in. We'll see what he's able to pick off. Do you see Spears able to take out a knight? 1 spear falls. Vills are idled, but we got a little raid down in SAS's base. 4 horsemen. The apocalypse broken through into Joan's base, and they are going to pick up villager kills.
Yeah, I mean, this is
go
the classic
down.
when you're aging up raid, right? It's so valuable because the opponent's trying to do some damage and trying to focus on your base, and you know, counter raid, trying to put pressure while you get your economy set up or your upgrade set up while you're trying to go castle, or you are in castle, right?
Yeah, trying to just buy yourself that time, getting your opponent focused, back home, dealing with what you sent, and that is 4 Vil kills, and Valdemar already, I mean, he's Song Dynasty. The villager count is already a massive gap. And now we've got Lancers on the field, and Archer's kind of in trouble being out a little far to the front. Knights looking for a target in the back, but they have to regroup with the rest of the army here.
It's just a few too many knights on SAS side, and the archer count is just kind of just enough to kind of one shot, or I guess just, you know, get rid of the spears efficiently. And you don't really have the knight mass just yet for Valdemar, but he's getting close. Once he has that mass, because these are castle age knights, he's going to take a fight and be able to you know, win a fight. But yeah, Assassin's actually going, you know, making units, but also securing his goals, because that's what he needs to age up, and he's pretty close to age up. Looks like he's going to be going up pretty soon.
Yeah, just a few more gold until he's over the 600 threshold. You can see that SAS backing up, not wanting to take a fight. Valdemar able to just push him back to the stealth forest in the middle of the map. SAS actually going to pick off a scout potentially. No, Valdemar gets him away just in time, and the Age 3 landmark is now under construction. It will be a guild hall. Looking for some way to offset the massive economic advantage that Valdemar has had for the majority of the game.
What is this, 20, almost 20 vills at this point?
Yeah.
It's just passive, nothing happening. That's why JD especially is so much more troublesome to deal with in this matchup rather than French, right?
Yeah, you're not getting that bonus villager production. But the Lancers have turned around, and Valdemar's going to lose one of them, but Jeanne not close enough to pick up EXP off of that kill. The Lancers are just too fast, but there's too many Knights right now, and we do see veterancy on the way for both Archers and Knights for SAS. Cantled Saddles also in the queue. But here come the Spears. Lancers trying to pick off those Archers, get Jeanne in a real awkward position. And now Valdemar's cutting off the angle of retreat for SAS. They're duking it out in the stealth forest. Veteran C now in for the Knights. There are so many spears here. Not many archers left. Jeanne hits level 3, pops the heal, gets her men-at-arms champions out to start messing with the spears.
Yeah, I mean, also, SAS was also able to sneak in a knight on those top berries while this fight was going on. A good amount of idle time for SAS. But yeah, like you said, this fight is just kind of hard because Valdemar knew as those upgrades are coming in, he wants to force the fight, right? Jeanne actually survives and should be okay in terms of his experience, but not the best fight for SAS. Not the most optimal one because he obviously wants to wait for those upgrades, right? It always feels bad when you're doing, especially that archer upgrade, and you have the upgrade in, and all the archers are dead, right?
Yeah,
the
you
classic,
lose
cast stage.
in the time it takes to finish researching. You lose the 20 archers that you're planning. I've been there for sure. Well, SAS has found a little pocket of units, army units, thinning out the spears, able to take out a lancer. Reinforcements are in, gonna force SAS back again.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that he's getting experience, SAS is, but yeah, I mean, already farms are being set up too. Like I said, there was already some farms, maybe 5 or 6 farms in early games, so getting good value from there. Meanwhile, SAS is not going to go farms anytime soon, right? He's still going to go for those berries. You know, Valdemar just setting himself up for the late game, and even though you have Guild Hall. At this point, you need 3 town centers or something, you know, just to keep it up. And Valdemar had the, head start on the relics. Looks like he's already got 2 secured. At least 1 is on the way. But yeah, this is a pretty easily defendable base, right? The wood line is walled in the back. There's some farms setting up there. Some more walls coming on. And like you said, there's just going to be that eco advantage. And these raids are going to be pretty easy for Valdemar to deal with.
Yeah, you can see that the Vills are trying to set up that farm economy, and they worked until the last moment and then moved away. Spears were there to deal with the Knights. No Vills actually died, and Valdemar pretty easily cleans that up, and I think I just cast a curse on myself. Oh, no, that Vill did survive. Okay, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, close one, but safe indeed. Oh, whoa.
I missed that wherever it happened. I thought it was to the right a bit.
Yeah,
it was closer
that
to
night
Valdemar's
before
base.
Dying, almost got another villager, but of course, because you said no villagers lost, another villager was safe.
Yeah, and these villagers do have textiles. That is really helping keeping those alive. We do see a second layer of walls, but they haven't been constructed yet. SAS has made his way past those, but he is going to find some spears with those knights, and he is going to be forced to retreat out of there. Maybe this villager will be killed. Nope, that one gets away too.
Yeah, Valdemar definitely doing a good job in kind of safeguarding his villagers. But once these walls get up, Valdemar's going to be fully walled with a good amount of farms coming in the back. A good... Oop. I mean, he doesn't want to lose a lot of these spears, but there's plenty of spears from where that came from. So Valdemar is probably just even going to push the issue. Now, the thing about the infantry comp, obviously, versus a cav comp is that you don't want to be chasing the knights around. So another reason why you want to full wall up. Now, after you've been walled and your food economy is safe and all your wood and all your villagers are safe, now you can push the issue and kind of be on the aggro, right? SAS is also walling up, but at this stage of the game, like you said, the farms and the build difference is just much more. I mean, if you look at the incomes and villager difference, obviously, but
it's
yeah,
massive. Oh, the gap in food income is pretty brutal. SAS likely needing to get out. Yeah, now taking the berries close to his base, trying to get back that food income. You see him torch down a gate outside of Valdemar's base, but he can't push in any further. So we'll see the wreckage of the gate, but not much else. Now they're trying to torch down this wall. Spears are there, so it's annoying for sure, but I don't think there's going to be anything material that comes of it. Losing a couple knights, though, that doesn't feel great, and the villagers, see the blueprints already there to reconstruct that wall.
Yeah, I mean, also the other thing is, even if you break that wall, I guess you send a knight or two in there. But I mean, now because you're going to be fully walled just soon, any knight that you send in there is going to be in trouble essentially. And even if you kill a villager or two, it's not going to be too much in a dent in terms of the villager difference. It's still going to be just around 2 or 20 villagers. But SAS was on stone. Looks like he gathered a good amount of stone. He's getting that second TC in. We do maybe a big fight here.
Yeah, spears coming forward. We do have Jones champions forming the front line as well as they can against the spears, and it's enough of an army that Valdemar does not want to engage, wants to step back, just keep chugging along with his crazy economy and keep creating units still pretty far away from that pop cap. So he's got time to continue massing, and we see SAS looking to burn through the gate again, but there's a villager there to repair who gets sniped out, and SAS will be forced to retreat.
That one was hard to protect. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One-shotted by Jeanne.
That I won't, count that against Valdemar. But we do see. I think SAS is actually going to go for trade as well. So he's going to go for multiple TCs and trade because that's you need some type of eco boost. I mean, obviously he's going to have some boost from the guild hall just to kind of save his food. When he's going to be hungry. Of course, he's going to be hungry. He's already hungry right now. But he doesn't have any farms as opposed to Valdemar, who has a decent, almost full farm transition already. But he also SAS gotta put the pressure, continue to put the pressure, while also trying to do this boom behind it to keep up, right? And just as I say that, Great Wall Gatehouse starts to get up. So I'm not sure this eco investment for the long term might. I don't know.
I don't know if we're gonna see the returns that we'd need to from SAS, but I suppose it's now or never going into Imperial. You gotta find some damage at this point. There's so many spears and crossbows for Valdemar. They are just stopping the knights from coming in.
SAS can age up with the guild hall, right? But the problem is there's only 1,300 of food in there, so you need a lot longer of a wait time. All the while, Valdemar's going to be well into Imperial Age, get his imp upgrades, and his army is just so much bigger at this point. And what you were banking on that is that you have knights. Well, now it's going to be a bigger army and tech advantage. So definitely a tough situation to be in for SAS. Also, the trade is not going to be that much of a... No, it's going to be half a trade, I guess, right? A little more, maybe 60% trade. So it's not the most efficient. So, yeah.
And we're finally seeing the first traders actually come out of the market. Those are being created. As I mentioned that, it's a trade not close to being online yet. Food per minute, though,
Valdemar doesn't realize yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But we do have that push into the French base. Spears, crossbows moving in. SAS trying to get a keep up. Springeld's in the back for SAS. Looking for something to deal with all of this infantry. 3 Springelds at this point. He's looking to hold on here. Like, this is... Oh my goodness, 5 Springelds. But unfortunately, he's lost just so much in the front. But they did buy enough time for the keep to come up. So Valdemar will have to take a different angle of attack.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, actually not that bad of a fight. I thought it was going to be a really, really bad fight. I mean, you did lose a lot of knights, right? So, not a great fight, but...
it wasn't a game-ending fight. Yeah,
it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Well, Valdemar looking to push again. His units dancing in the tree lines, and those Springelds are going to keep him honest. Going to force him back a little bit to regroup and think about this next attack. All the sacred sites have been secured by SAS at this point, so that little extra gold income is going to help. But you can see that food per minute, I don't believe, has been over 500 for the past like 10 minutes or so.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know if he's on board, but he definitely should. Of course, he's getting pushed on that side. Valdemar right now kind of wants to secure a big gold for himself as well. We do see a blueprint of a tower on that left side gold where he's trying to push. Yeah, oh, he was... This is right where he was trying to age up as well.
Yeah. This is rough. Red Palace under construction. Springelds and Mangoes, though. Mango's doing a decent amount of damage. A lot of units grouped together. I think SAS is honestly not doing so bad here. That siege coming in super clutch. But a lot of villagers getting taken out trying to create that Red Palace.
There's 1 villager on it. 0 villagers on it now. Yeah, like you said, the trade wasn't that bad again. Thanks to Springelds, just like in the first fight. But now you've lost all your Springelds. You've also lost a whole bunch of villagers, and you're in no position to lose villagers against this Chinese economy, right? And Valdemar loses a good amount of army, but it doesn't really matter for him. He can just remass with his food income, like you said. I guess he probably pulled Guild Hall, right? There's no way he ages up.
Yeah, it must have been. Yeah, with that, the food per minute is still in rough shape. Valdemar's past 2,000 at this point. SAS has struggled to get even to 500 the past few minutes.
Yeah. The third TC coming up for SAS, but it's just kind of all kind of Conan from the back. Like, it's just, you need a farm strats at this point, right?
Right. Yeah, I see 2 farms for the French, and that is about it.
Not gonna feed a whole empire, that's for sure. And we also see Valdemar going for the clock tower as well, just for that siege oomph as well, just to get those nest of bees and go for that, ultimate Chinese siege composition as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That is gonna finish up shortly. We are getting merchant guilds for the French. These guys, traders, are gonna start generating passive gold.
I definitely need that because it's 30 gold a trip. It's not the most lucrative trade.
No.
So
it's a trade out of necessity, not a trade out of optimization.
Yeah, I mean, SAS has been able to keep the sites for a good long while, and so that's also a decent income. Right now, he's on 3 TCs, of course, so he's going to slowly be able to keep up the eco. The only problem, like we said, is that the food transition needs to happen, and it needs to happen fast, so that you can surpass 600 food per minute and try to...
He's broken through 500. There are some improvements. Let's see if we can get that to 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? On the other hand, Valdemar is just kind of chilling with 3K per minute. Just trying to granary things.
Yeah, not a care in the world.
Funny thing is, there's 2 berry packs in the base too. It doesn't even need those. Meanwhile, everything is dry on SAS side. But yeah, SAS is try to gets these walls up just to secure that trade a little bit, and also secure his economy. Um, but yeah, more and more you just need. Now it's not down to 200 per minute, by the way, Beal. So I'm
Oh
not
my
sure we're
goodness.
going
Oh boy.
in the right direction.
That's gonna be tough, and we see Valdemar now on the top side, breaking through the walls, now getting in on top of the markets. There's a keep nearby, but it's not close enough to fully protect those traders. They are exposed as they look to drop off, and SAS has realized trying to get those traders away. Apparently, they're not running to the keep. Maybe they're just continuing a trade route. And Valdemar with a giant mass in the middle. It's like 5 rams on the way, looking to knock down that keep.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a pretty strong push down the middle from Valdemar, I think. And the other thing is, Valdemar wants to trade units, right? He has a good bank. He has good income.
Yep.
The only problem with him is going to be pop, right? So and also, his units are kind of low, kind of value, not low value spearmen, right? Spearman crossbow. So you want to trade those units out, and right now Valdemar is going to attack the trade and also put some keeps up on the outside resources, try to deny gold, and then push the issue here, which is important because he should push the issue. You don't want this game to go on another 10 minutes for SAS to be able to get a chance to get his farms set up, and now a huge farm transition, or at least the starting of a huge farm transition in the back, but definitely necessary because I think at one point it went down to 100 per minute, so not ideal. We're slowly creeping back up. The guild hall is still on food, so there's also that saving grace. Not the best situation you want to be in because you want to have your guild hall on something else usually, but definitely the right choice for SAS at this point because he's starving.
Yeah, he needs it wherever he can get it. Valdemar knocking on the door. Those rams coming in. We're about to have an engagement off to the side of SAS's base. Look at all the siege in the back. Triple mango, triple cannons. So those don't cost food. You can build those if you can't build anything else. Mango shots, pretty incredible into the spears.
And a Rebaldican comes up
and
gets a shot off.
Always fun when those are able to take a shot. The siege working in SAS's favor. Valdemar on the retreat for now, but the ram train able to take down a monastery, knock a couple relics free. Ram train not going to survive that much longer, but Valdemar just able to get right back up to 200 population. Super simple.
Like I said,
super quick.
I mean, now he has a bunch of horsemen, right, to counteract that siege. And whoa, no, all the siege.
Yeah, that's really
all
rough.
That sweet siege.
So exposed. Dragging it back, but it's just archers and horsemen and Jeanne and siege trying to get in position behind the safety of the units. The horsemen are moving in, palace guards are moving in, and the army count for SAS is dipping super low at this point. There's really nothing
that was just
left.
A little slip up. I mean, he was doing well. He was doing well with the he was holding with the siege mass. Of course, he doesn't have the food income to kind of compete in this kind of mass late game unit spam situation. But he just looked away for a split second, and all the horsemen and melee units on his siege lost all the siege. Now, I mean,
yeah, it's tough. Horsemen are now inside of that newly planted farm transition to the south, picking off villagers left and right.
And GG gets called. I mean, he was cooking a little bit with that siege mass. Valdemar was, having trouble breaking through that. But like I said, he wants to make that trade, right? He wants to fight, and then he can mass whatever units that he wants to. And that situation, it happened to be horsemen. And in an instant, he has 25 horsemen just like that to counteract the siege. So you want to be. I mean, you had to be really careful with the siege. Of course, it's difficult when the opponent has that many units.
Yeah, and it seemed like the spearmen were just a sacrifice. Basically, run in there, do a little bit of damage if you can, but you know you can just take some mango shots to the face and let these horsemen come on out here.
It was a sacrifice he was willing to make, but it was pretty nice mango shots from Baldequin and stuff. That was some excitement that we, you want to root for the underdog in terms of the matchup and the situation, right? But yeah, that Chinese economy is just too much at the end, because all the way from the beginning of the game, Valdemar has been putting down farms, of course. He's also coming off of pro scouts, just like every other civ, it looks like, and his current meta. But yeah, just like I said, just all the way from beginning, the spawns was great for Valdemar.
Pretty insane for China. Yeah, so safe against Joan. Yeah, SAS just not able to do much of anything there.
Maybe, I mean, I don't know if this will happen, but maybe you go for some Dark Age aggression as HRE just to kind of slow things off.
I'd like to see that. Yeah, I don't know if that's the play against Zhu Xi, but yeah, I will never. I'll never say no to Dark Age spears. Yeah.
I don't know if this is good or not, but we're just saying things, of course. But
I'd like to see
the logic behind it. Yeah,
it might not be great. You might lose the game immediately, but I'd love to see it. Like Rebaldequins. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I think the logic behind that, of course, is to kind of slow down Zhu Xi, because in a straight up fight, or straight up race rather, on quick feudal and try to immediately queue pro scouts, of course Zhu Xi is going to be, get a faster timing instead of the amount of scouts it's able to put out there, and also amount of or the time it takes for the pro scouts to finish, right? So that's the logic behind it. Of course, that's what we like to see. But we do.
I haven't switched over yet. let's get into the game right now before that timer runs out. No worries. We are loading in, and look at that. It is a Dark Age barracks for SAS. I'm here for it. I'm excited, and I'm ready, and I am going to pause this for just a couple of seconds. I've been having pretty bad buffering issues today.
Yeah, I mean, great minds think alike, right?
Yeah.
Rising Empire casters and pro players, great minds.
We got that spot on. We were, of course, that was the right play. We knew it the whole time.
Never doubted it.
All right. Well,
and the goal is forward too, so it's gonna be pretty lucky in terms of goal spawn for SAS, which could, favor this. I think Valdemar does scout out the barracks, so we'll see what he responds.
Take a look. Oh yeah, his scout is able to see it. He knows what's up, and what will that reaction be? As we do see that first spearman sprint across the map. Those HRE spearmen a little bit faster than normal there. Make his way right over to the gold.
I just realized there's no safe wood line, right? It's just
no.
out of TC range.
They are all far away.
In a lot of situations in this kind of draft, sometimes players will allow, civs to kind of go through with a civ of their own in mind and a play that they're kind of prepared for it. So maybe SAS actually let through Zhu Xi, knowing that he would be able to pick HRE as a counter and kind of do the situation. So that could be an interesting dynamic, because there's no gold going to be able to be gathered for Valdemar, and there's no wood line. So I don't know. I think he's just going to go for taxes, because I think he's dropping off at the mill frequently, and he's trying to fast age up that way.
Yeah, he's pumping up his tax collection that way, and it's going to be through taxes that he will age. Does finally get enough gold there, so age up should start soon. But you can see the deer being pushed by SAS. Remember, we were talking about the 3 safer deer, and SAS is like, no,
not so safe anymore.
You're going right to the middle. We are going to contest these. We're adding them.
And the other thing is, normally there would have been a great, meditation garden spots, right? The double berries, for example. Maybe you can sneak in the gold or something, or you can put it a little in the back. But right now, with just 3 spears or 2 spears being made, Now you kind of have to just go for a very underwhelming meditation garden, right? So it's just kind of berries, and I assume it gets to
Yeah,
stone. But if it doesn't get
you'll
to stone,
grab the
that's like
stone
way
too.
too
Yeah,
much.
if it was just the berries, that might be
It'd
the
just be like,
saddest meditation gardens I've seen in like a year. It's
yeah,
still
depression garden at that point.
all yeah. All things considered, a super underwhelming gardens. And we do
Well, I
see
think
a
SAS is
blueprint of a
also
tower.
pulling, yeah, pulling a veil for a tower, exact. There is a back gold, so I don't know if the tower is going to be that much of a, affect Volmar that much. I probably would prefer going age up and fast pro scouts in the situation, but I think he just kind of wants that forward tower just as a location where he can gather up his reinforcements and deny vision or have vision to deny those scouts when there's the ultimate race, inevitable race to kind of pick up tier. There's a second
Oh,
villager coming
mine
forward.
work. It's a mine work.
Mine work, Dark Age. Let's go. This is what we want to see.
I'm loving it. I'm locked in. I am ready for this. Yeah, Valdemar coming out to that back gold, the safe gold. You see it patrolling Jugnu and pick off any pesky spears that step close.
Yeah, I mean, mine work is not the old man work. There's what's it called? I don't know. The spears and horseman upgrade. I don't know it off the top of my head. I need to do more homework on that end, but I think. I guess he's still gonna go for pro scouts because he has that mill in that position, which screams pro scouts to me, or at least a quick, easy mill to not to. There's two villagers complete a tower, 2 spears in there, and aging up behind it. So the problem is that Valdemar is aging up a lot, has aged up a lot faster. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, not quite sure. He's dropping his stable now, but SAS moving out to take 3 vills on stone.
That's just for the emplacement, right? The arrow slits for the tower.
For that tower, yeah. And we'll see those technologies you're talking about. I also don't have them memorized, but yeah, Spearman
You don't have to
Horseman.
see it every day.
Yeah.
Alpites.
Damage
Alpites.
+2. Steel barding. Castle Age Knights getting armored.
Yeah, the damage increase on the Spearman and Horseman by 2 is pretty. Is the selling point, right, for the mine work?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
certainly a
Valdemar
reason to
already
take it.
finished Pro Scout, so Zushi thinks.
SAS not too far behind. Also, despite coming into feudal age, a lot slower than Valdemar. He's about to have pro scouts in about 30 seconds here, and we do start to see the initial skirmishes in the middle of the map. Valdemar coming out looking for those carcasses. He's gonna swipe 2, those 2 that were pushed into the stealth forest earlier on by SAS. Valdemar will in fact find him, but gonna lose a scout on the way back. And gonna drop that carcass in front of the outpost range there.
Yeah, when I was saying that the tower doesn't do much instead of denying gold, I think the important thing that SAS is actually going for is that division, just to see those scouts kind of going out, and also make it annoying, right? This tower kind of makes it so that your scouts have to go through. I mean, you got to manually do it now, right? But if there was no tower, you can just you don't have to manually do it, and you just kind of right-click all the deer. But with this tower, you kind of SAS knows where those scouts are, and like you said, that first scout going down is pretty huge.
Yeah, having the vision to know which direction he's taking them. We did see Valdemar really ballsy scout just walk up to the spearman, sneak the carcass away from underneath his feet and take it back home. And now we see SAS realizing it at this point that the spearman's not really protecting anything anymore. Spear near the north, taking a look at the deer pack up there. The scout's not taking anything home. He's a little injured. But we've got Castle Age. We got Valdemar looking for Castle at this point.
Yeah, already aging up with the or Mount Lu, Xiaolu,
The
Xiaolu Academy does not
Xiaolu.
exist as a landmark, but Mount Lu
Xiaolu
does.
Mon Academy.
And he's gonna go for that relic play. He still has a good amount of sheep. Also, the deer coming in, of course. Yeah, I mean it is interesting play from SAS, but right now, Valdemar is gonna be able to get into castle. No problem. Oh, I'm sorry. I said play on relics. This is the Mount Lu economy.
Yeah, it's gonna be IOs. We're gonna get some buffed up IOs.
The Mount Lu monks, if they only existed.
Yeah. So not seen as much as the Shaolin Monastery, but still a lot of good techs here, especially the one that increases the bonus from supervision. You see that under research right now. That buff from being supervised, the speed that it gives you is increased from 150% to 300%, which is pretty massive.
Yeah, I mean, he is going to be able to pump out a lot of knights, but do you want to pump out a lot of knights? Is the question, especially with mine work, spears with the Alpikes, more damage that they're going to be able to deal versus those knights. And SAS does see those knights coming in, and it's probably just going to make more spears and kind of, work on it that way. But yeah, actually, I just noticed that the HRE towers actually get more line of sight even without relics. I did not know that.
Yeah, Crackety in the chat, throwing out that piece of knowledge. Did see a surround on one of those lancers from Valdemar. Spear's able to pick off one of the lancers. The other ones are going to get away. There's also a little harassment on the gold, on that safer gold for Valdemar. SAS picking up one Vil kill so far.
The other thing about mine work versus Aachen is that when you go mine work, you actually don't have to worry about where your scouts are bringing home deer. So you can just right-click deer. So that's why everybody should go mine work. Nobody should go Aachen, because when you go Aachen, you have to, what's it called? It's a T, and you have to
yeah,
press
you have
it,
to T, and you
just
better hit it
first.
Work, you better hit it first, because if you hit it after you shift click, then you're screwed. It's still going to go back to the TC.
Yeah.
Horseman coming in to the gold mine there. Valdemar doing a good job of microing those Vils around, popping them inside and outside of the village and the outpost. Gonna keep that group of Vils alive, not losing a single one. Horsemen on the retreat at this point. Lancers in pursuit. We do have a little detachment up on the north side, circling around, maybe looking for some damage. Valdemar's base. Valdemar with a couple of Lancers, also harassing SAS at this time. The Spears are there at home to deal with two of them. One Lancer is going to chase away a scout, likely looking for a few more carcasses.
It looks like Valdemar's not making... Oh, just as I said that, I was going to say he's not making more knights, but he is making more knights. But he went 2 crossbows into Juganu. Does Juganu make sense? The crossbows are just kind of to spice things up, maybe? Because let's remember, these are, like I said, Alpikes, right? The horsemen and spearmen are pretty strong, even against castle units at this stage. But I think SAS is going to slowly look for a castle as well, just to get those... Yeah, because it's pretty easy defending against knights with this juiced up spearman.
Absolutely, yeah. We just saw a really good fight for SAS on the wood line. And Valdemar with multiple knights coming in, tried to take out villagers, but there was a prelate around to make sure to heal up those Vils, and enough good blocking by SAS's units to prevent the knights from retreating. And I don't think Valdemar took more than one, even maybe not even one at all. And lost a few knights for it. And now SAS moving across the map, going to be pushed back by Valdemar. Jugnu going to make it difficult for the Spears to comfortably engage at this point. And we'll run on back to the safety of the HRE base. Their big old outposts.
Yeah, and there's going to be more outposts necessary at this point just to secure that wood line as well. Some more production being added, and SAS is actually making, or he stopped making units, but he was just now. He does need to get castle The only, I guess, yeah, he can still probably defend relatively okay. But Valdemar is getting siege engineering behind this, so he looks like he is going to push. But yeah, this could actually be a pretty good fight for SAS with the surround with horsemen and spearmen.
Yeah, those horsemen able to get right in on the Jugnu, able to rip right through them. Lancers in trouble. Valdemar able to get a couple injured ones away. But yeah, those horsemen deal extra damage. Those Lancers, very low health, might be able to pick those off. Another Jugnu to the south in trouble. And look at that.
Yeah, man,
Look at the military count at this point. Valdemar with only
that was
9
great.
units.
It's a great fight for SAS. I mean, this is why I'm always going to be advocating for mine work to be nerfed, because this is insane.
Over the top.
I mean,
you shouldn't be winning these fights. It's got to be nerfed.
Yeah, I mean, Valdemar was pretty, because I mean, you just have Shuganu, and I think he just upgraded it, and he was even getting siege engineering behind it, so he's pretty confident with that push. But you know, SAS makes those units, continues to make units before aging up. A lot of players in this situation would just, oh, my opponent's castle, right? I got to go castle as fast as possible just so I can not lose. But SAS makes correct decisions to make just enough units to take a great fight, clean up the opponent's army, and then go castle. Of course, he goes relics. He goes regnets. There's a lot more relics on the field because Valdemar obviously did not go for the Shaolin, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm confused.
We went to Mount Lu. We built the school, not the church.
Exactly.
So we're just watching a couple horsemen trying to get some damage in on Valdemar's villagers. They're not going to find too much. One dead Vil. Idle time on the gold as well. Valdemar, though, pushing back. Handful of spears and Jugnus, but it's not enough to deal with this, with what SAS has here.
Yeah, I mean, that
SAS realizes there's nothing
of
behind it.
Yeah, I mean, Valdemar still wants to push a little bit, but his army is just so much smaller because of that bad fight. Yeah, and actually, SAS is going to be able to go on the offensive, no problem.
Yeah,
like,
the spearmen are stepping up too.
Like.
Yeah, spearmen trying to get that surround. Veterancy now in for the spears. They are standing toe-to-toe with those Jugs, and they'll clear those out. Lancers are going to be no problem for them afterwards.
I mean, it looked a little... I mean, it's not as bad as
not
I
as
thought,
clean,
but
yeah. Still going in SAS's favor, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, Valdemar, I mean, he's still okay. He just needs to remass and kind of regroup at his own base. But the problem is, at this stage of the game, you don't want to do that. You want to be aggressive normally, an ideal will, so that the opponent can't get relics. Right now, SAS is going to be able to get 3 relics, it looks like. So it's going to 3-2 split, and Valdemar's been castle for a long, long time. So the landmark choice definitely played a role there. The other thing is there's 4 villager difference, even though it's an even villager kill. Of course, this is mine work, so you make those prelates from your TC, right? So that's why for that little villager discrepancy.
Mm-hmm. That is right, and you can see the upgrades from Mount Lu, the increased supervision, and also those IOs increased speed as well. You can see those guys zipping around, dropping off taxes as fast as they can. Yeah.
Oh my God, look at him.
Yeah.
Fucking tax officials on stimulants, it looks like. We do have what's it called, the night upgrade, right? I just saw, I think, yeah. So I saw the night upgrade as well. So he's gonna go into some nights to raid as well. So yeah, the Assassin not in a bad position at all with those fights that he took. Great fights. Valdemar is going for the Jeanne Tower for the Song Dynasty. Of course, you need that for your granaries and production buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah, getting into a position. I mean, Valdemar Really taking advantage of the granaries as China in the last game, now unlocking them with the Xinjiang Tower, entering Song Dynasty. You can take a look at the back of his base. Looks like some open ground for some farmland. A couple men-at-arms for SAS, trying to loop around and deal some raiding damage, but they're going to be caught out. Valdemar's there with spears, with zhugs. Men-at-arms will have to turn around, but now we got knights coming down the middle.
Yeah, SAS is going to be pretty active with those knights, try to cause idle time, and behind it go for his normal HRE infantry comp, right? So he's also adding in archers at this point, maybe a land connect as well. So it's going to be I think his focus is going to be build an army and kind of do an aggressive push right now, because he's not looking for imp. He's mine work. Let's remember. So it's not, his economy is not as strong as it could be. He's just kind of relying on his units that are going to be much better than they would have been otherwise. He's getting the sites. He's got relics. He's got some good income, and he's just making units.
Yeah, taking it from there. It's really nice to see SAS above 1,000 food per minute. Great to see after a pretty brutal last game. Look at these. He's got farms around his TC. He started that farm transition. So hopefully we have more of a steady food income for him throughout the game. And also, just you compare the resources per minute at this point in the game, and SAS is looking good, I'd say.
Yeah. Those 3 Regnus relics definitely helping. Yeah, I mean, this is not Aachen farms, but they're farms nonetheless. Going pretty heavy into archers as well, because Valdemar is, of course, going to crossbow. Now, those archers and the horsemen, maybe he even, afterwards goes back into horsemen, could be possible. But right now, currently, he has a lot of knights. So those are chatted up knights, minework knights. Oh,
and that's going to be enough for Valdemar to call it. Loses a Vil there, and just not confident on his way back into the game. Knows that, HRE's got 3 relics. Is lagging behind. I don't know how much he knows he's lagging behind economically, but I got to imagine that granary transition was in effect, and that was going to be starting to pay off. And what he had...
I mean, he was not in a great position, I guess, but it felt like playable. No, it felt like.
Yeah, it didn't feel like there was a big GG moment. Valdemar just not comfortable with his position, so we were talking about before this game how awesome it would be to see. Oh, it was a crash. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh yeah, that's.
Well.
Yeah, because I did not think he was gonna give up there.
Yeah. So I'm gonna look in the Discord real quick and see what they are gonna rule that as. Whether or not SAS is going to get the win for that. Okay, Neri is on the case. So we'll see.
This is a tough situation, though.
Decision, yeah. Oh, man, like the Vil count, mostly even. Military count. Sure, SAS was spiking at the end, but Valdemar crashed. I mean, you'd anticipate this to be going up at that point. Resources gathered. If it came down, I wouldn't say it was a 50-50 game. I'd say SAS had the advantage, but certainly not a massive advantage or decisive advantage by any stretch. Oh my goodness! Look at that! I have loaded in. All right,
this is
how many seconds are you into the game?
When I unpause, it goes by 20 seconds. I'm like 50 seconds, but you can start, I think.
Okay, I'm at the 10-second mark, but I've unpaused it. We finally have a game. So let's please see it. Oop, what do we do? There we go. Almost lost it there.
No.
Everything is falling apart here. Game 3 after that admin decision, but we've made it. Valdemar versus SAS on Tempe. Loading in, taking a look at SAS in the blue as the Delhi. Doing Delhi things, getting started that way. Valdemar as the Byzantines. Looks like he's got forward berries this time around. Forward berries and a safe back gold. Oh, all right. I'm excited for this. Hopefully this game is worth the wait. And I'm the only one who crashes today. But yeah, we were talking about, if you weren't here for the earlier game on Tempe, it is like the better Altai. You can see the mountain ranges off to the side. More accessible, easier to walk over, although this has pretty massive dead end. The trading posts, not in the corner. You're going to have to make your own sort of route here, whether or not that's taking one of the sides, you know, walling this off and trading up to the corner. Something like that. We also have normal deer spawns on the map. We got 4 packs of 7 apiece and a couple boar for each player. And I feel like King of the Rockies, that version of Tempe, had like 3 boar per person. But
Oh, really?
I could
Lots of food.
I could just be misremembering. It's been a bit.
Yeah. I mean, I'll figure this out, but I think my version, I started it, and then people, the villagers were just kind of idle. So I think it's kind of what the problem that you said that you had, I guess, in the King of the Rockies. So I'm just gonna come back out and try to get in again. But
okay.
In the meantime, I might not make the most.
That's fine. Yeah, at least we've got a game on the screen.
Yeah. That's perfect.
At the very least, and we are aging up. It is going to be that Grand Winery looking to get oil from those berries out in front. And no surprise on the other side, SAS dropping the Dome of the Faith. The meta deli landmark at this point. We've seen what those mass of scholars can do, especially now. Elephants are no longer really a joke unit. They actually have some purpose and really do serve the core of the Delhi army as of the past couple of months. Scholars really beneficial in keeping those guys alive.
Yeah.
But we'll see how this develops. Take a look at the
One
sacred
thing
side. Go ahead.
I noticed just looking at my idle wells and no action, so I was really able to hone in on the resource spawns.
Mm-hmm.
So the goal from Valdemar is actually just everything is there, right? There's no other safe,
We're looking at it in
just
one
so
screen.
much gold.
I see it all. Yeah, I see 3 smalls and a large. It's pretty nuts. Yeah, SAS has 2 smalls and a large in the back of his base. Not, as clumped together as Valdemar, but still accessible and to the back. We're actually here on Tempe. It's a custom map. Don't see it all that often, but it's similar mostly to Altai. Just if the sides were open and the trade was better. And the middle had more maneuverability. But both players now up to feudal. We do see the first barracks on the way for Valdemar. Changing his location a little bit. Also finishing up that first aqueduct stretch. Connecting his cisterns. No production building quite yet. SAS just needs a little bit more wood. Drop the first on his side. But all those techs are in the queue, starting to be researched. SAS taking a look at what Valdemar's doing with his gold back here. Barracks is completed, and there's the Merc house right next door. No commitment to Limitani just yet. Oh, and I say that, Caster's Curse, first one's in the queue. And Delhi opening stable. Getting those Ghazi Raiders out onto the map.
Yeah, I think what I'll do is leave the real-time important, casting to you, and I'll kind of say it based off of the stream here, because it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get on a real-time observing.
Okay, yeah. That sounds good. I mean, it sucks that you can't, but we can make do with that. See the first outpost now coming down on the berries for Valdemar. Taking a look at the Merc House. We did pick the Jav contract, and we're seeing that first batch of Jav throwers coming in. So your classic Limitani to take care of the Ghazis, Javs to take care of the Archer mass that will likely be behind that. We do see an archery range right here. And we've got a scout being obnoxious.
As the DU scouts kind of tend to do with that house, and you know, Byzantines like to build those houses a little out in the, you know, away from the base just for that vision, right? So, first Ghazi does come for the harassment.
And that'll be enough to scare those Vils away. They're gonna run back to the town center. We do see some of Valdemar's army starting to gather in the middle here. Bunch of spears, and I do want to point out, I think this is the first game all day. Don't ruin it, SAS. Don't ruin it by getting pro scouts. No, we went so long into a game without pro scouts. But yeah, Delhi gets it for free, so why not?
Yeah, Delhi is kind of obligatory pro scouts, I guess. Eventually it'll be researched, but I mean, he could have not prioritized it. This is a normal Civ's equivalent of going pro scouts, right? Prioritizing it like this, but yeah. What I will say is that the Jav contract in feudal is pretty good. You know, as we just see right here, that two archers gets obliterated, and the scholar as well. So it's working out pretty well for him. The only thing is, it just doesn't scale as well, right, as the other two. I guess as longbows, a lot better in Castle Age and beyond. But definitely this comp for feudal is very good against Ghazi Archer.
Absolutely, yeah. Those Javs just putting out so much damage in feudal. It's such a powerhouse unit to play against. Really makes you nervous when you don't have that many archers at the start of the game, and it's vitally important to start building that mass. And those Javs can really put some pressure on that, but huge pickup though from Valdemar to get one of the scholars, and you can see the Javs coming into a great position here. Pressure on this other sacred site. Valdemar's gonna stop that scholar from capturing, and he's gonna send the rest of his army to go run that guy down. Javs coming overhead, just needs one more hit. Scholar getting out of there with 2 HP.
This scout wasn't as lucky, but yeah, two scholar pickups. I think because Valdemar's comp is not so fast, SAS is going to be able to get the bottom sacred site. It looks like, but yeah, I mean, Valdemar's doing a great job denying those 2 sacred sites. And I just noticed, and I should have known this, but there's 4 sacred sites here, so that's an insane amount of income for SAS if he's able to hold even 2 of them, right? 2 or 3 of them. So there's already 1 safe site for SAS, and here you got the safe, quote-unquote, safe sites for Valdemar. So now he just kind of needs to focus on there. And because SAS has mobility, he can kind of keep that site to the south as long as Valdemar doesn't send too many of his army away.
Yeah, it's a big strength of the Ghazi Raiders. I mean, you're encouraged to go into that unit, and they really do help with putting pressure on those who would take away your sacred sites. Engagement in the middle, though, a little bit of a back and forth, but it seems like Valdemar at this point has the upper hand in that skirmish. Able to pick off units here and there, and these archers are in trouble. You see the Limitani with the shield wall out for the time being. Javs coming overhead. We're going to see if SAS is able to come around with his Ghazi Raiders, get some additional damage as Valdemar chases those units all the way back to the Delhi base. But hey, during that, those 4 sites have been secured, and that's huge.
I don't think SAS is, upset and has no problem with this. I mean, yeah, he's losing fights, or not losing fights, but he's not able to take fights right now just because early on this Jav Spearman comp is just so strong. But behind it, he's done with faith. He doesn't need to do something right away, right? Yeah, a little skewered Ghazi's right there, but such is life. The important thing is there's 4 sacred sites under control generating gold for Delhi,
Yeah,
right?
massive, massive. Valdemar, though, doing a good job. These 3 Limitani really getting their money's worth. Valdemar able to identify the injured Ghazi Raiders, focus on them first. And look at that, another one falls. That was a huge mass before. It's getting thinned out. Bottom Sacred Site has been decapped. Bottom middle decapped. And now top middle in process. So from 4 to 2. And it might be just 1 in a little bit. As we do see those scouts bringing that deer right back into the Delhi base.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to note that the SAS is actually not making more Ghazis. I think he's going to try an age up route, and he has some barracks down. So this is because there's so many scholars. What SAS can do is age up with the House of Learning and get that tech right for the increased damage on his men at arms, and against anything that Valdemar can make in feudal, men at arms with efficient production, right, is going to be excellent. So it's going to be men at arm archer. It's going to be a great comp against this. But in the meantime, SAS is pushing, and SAS is not quite aging up. Instead, he's going for the spears because he has to make units. He has no room for age up right now. He's getting pushed, right?
Yeah, he's on that timer. He can't commit to the age up right now with those 2 Cure Siphons starting to burn down the houses. And SAS is going to be pop blocked here. Going to likely be pop blocked again if that house does go down. Always annoying to lose 3 houses in a row at this point in the game. We got another Cure Siphon in production as well. First one taking a lot of shots from archers. But the burning is there on the farms. The archers standing in a terrible spot. And 3 of them just get engulfed in flames.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing with Cure Siphons, right? They're not as strong in terms of their tankiness as normal rams, but they pack a punch, and they pack a punch from a little bit of a distance away.
And they force
actually,
awkward
the
engagements too. Yeah, and look at that.
Yeah.
The TC is melting. 15 in there in garrison. That is going to melt under the pressure.
Oh my goodness.
Military
That's just game right there.
Yeah, what do you do? What do you do? Morville's going down. The massive Byzantine military now targeting out the production. SAS still has equal military count, but Valdemar will be able to reproduce for longer. You can see the resources per minute. SAS under 100 food. Scholars coming out though, trying to heal up as much as they can. Keep those units alive for longer. But it's an inferno in the Delhi base.
Oh yeah. I mean, you never want to lose your TC 13 minutes into the game. It's not going to be in a great position to win. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, SAS, there's not much. He went for the spears just to counteract the Ghazis a little bit. Not the Ghazis, both the horsemen and the jabs, right? Because spearmen kind of soft counter jabs in some way, but not when you don't have a TC.
Yeah.
It's not, MGG.
You can see the scholars doing as best as they could, trying to keep those units alive. Limitani just damage getting healed up faster that they can dish it out. But TC is a pretty important building to have, and after SAS lost a good amount of his military, he figured, you know what, there's gonna be no miracle for the Delhi today. Let's go next.
I mean, it looked good for a while because he had so many sites for free, essentially, even though he was not really able to take on full-on, direct engagements. But yeah, I think even he underestimated just how quickly that TC went down with against three those special rams, right? So I think he had, like you said, he had equal count. If he had those spear masks a little earlier, with the TC being able to dish out damage as well, he maybe has a decent chance of holding. But because the TC went down so quickly and unexpectedly, I mean, you just kind of lose the game directly from there.
Yeah. What do you do? Even if by some miracle you're able to take that fight, win it, and still be 20 units above your opponent in military, it's gonna be a while until
Oh.
you're able to produce vills, and you're just gonna lose long game on the
His
economy.
gold, his gold was in the back, right? I'm just kind of thinking
Yeah,
back
he had a
in
bunch of
terms of.
gold in the back. I
Yeah,
don't
so
know about
maybe
his
I mean
initial gold. His initial gold might have
maybe
been to the side, but he had more gold
maybe
in the
when you
back.
see Javs, I think, especially as Dome of Faith, when you see Javs, because your archers are not going to pack the same punch, maybe trying to go for a castle play might be something to do. But the problem is because uh, the sites that SAS got wasn't because of his military, right? He just got them
Right.
because uh,
Dome of the Faith. He had the
Valdemar's
scholars. He can
slow.
send them out. Yeah, and it
Yeah,
takes time for
because
the
he has so many scholars.
Byzantines to build up. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe going for that castle play because you also have pro scouts, so it's some um, food income as well. You can probably sneak some villagers on some berries or something, and then mass men at arms could be something to play with. But I mean, of course, these guys are a lot higher level, and
Hmm.
maybe it's just not safe to do that, and it's not viable, right?
Yeah. I don't know. You take a look at the gold gathered. Like SAS with the 4 sites. If you take a look at the graph, it just spikes out of control.
Yeah, four size is not nothing short. And that's why I mean maybe we mark it down and age up because once you go castle, especially with even one blacksmith, because you have so many scholars, you're actually going to be able to get those techs up pretty quickly, and you don't need tech for men at arms, right? You can those. He
Yep.
had what, three stables or not stables, racks.
He had 3 or 4
From three barracks,
racks.
you can pump.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3, 4, and those are not just 3, 4. They also have scholars in them, so you're going to be able to mass immediately a whole bunch of men at arms in castle, which they're great against the spearman jab comp, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Able to tank all that damage and prevent them from really doing anything else to you with their military. But Valdemar was able to get there in time, able to set the Delhi TC ablaze. So he's gonna make this series 2-1 at this point. Let's get into it. We got a game. Let me flip the score real quick. Okay, and we'll bring that on the screen. Loading into game 4. Coming in, we see SAS in the red as the Japanese. Across the way in the yellow, Valdemar as the Abbasids. House of Wisdom coming out. Goldmine coming out at, I don't know, it feels a little early to me, so this is a strategy that I'm not super aware of, but I don't see a dock for the Abbasids, so that's why the gold mine is coming out. Abbasids are staying dry.
Yeah, I think Valdemar is just going to go for the military wing and maybe ram down the dock from SAS. I think is kind of the play he's going for. I think Valdemar is thinking he needs to do something different because the matchup is not favored towards him.
Mm-hmm.
I think SAS is going to be able to scout that out, especially the gold gathering, and then not overinvest into the ships, the fishing ships, so that he can actually get a competitive timing on the age
Right.
up, because then he can defend it with Shinobi, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That little tip off that says, okay, you're both not playing in Dark Age. You are now under some pressure to get up because your opponent is not taking that dock. They're doing a standard feudal timing. So it's on you to react to this. Always tricky playing Abbasid on hybrid maps like this because you're playing and maybe you don't scout out your opponent perfectly and they're doing something else in Dark Age and you realize, oh no, I gotta scramble up to feudal. It kind of limited there by the House of Wisdom. No panic button available for you.
Yeah, Valdemar gets as fast age up as he can. So it's gonna 6-2 split without the mill and berries. So it's gonna be as fast as humanly possible type of situation. He does have a villager going out. I think he's probably gonna try to dock. and send the military units there. So it's going to be a full-on aggro play towards SAS's water economy. Meanwhile, SAS has 2 fishing ships, and then he's transitioned into age up. He's getting gold with a lot of villagers. So like I said, he's not going to overinvest into the fishing ships. He's going to try to age up in a little bit faster so that he can defend that. He is pushing some deer under TC just in case.
Yep.
Because, I mean, he can't, it's not going to be a pro scouts map or a pro scout situation, so you need to amateur scout and push some of the deer under there. But
Yeah,
we'll see what type of aggression happens.
These scouts, they're not perfect. They haven't been working out, so they can't actually pick up the deer, but they can nudge them closer, and maybe that'll be good enough. 30 seconds left on the military wing. See, that villager has been joined by a scout coming into the exact position on this pond that you would expect. And while that's happening, we got a Coca Township on the way for SAS.
I don't know if my sound is good, but I think your sound is a little...
Oh, am I sounding like a robot?
Yeah.
Give me 1
Now,
second.
we do love Robot Beal, no problem, but...
Alright, I'm coming back. Maybe this is fixed. Hopefully. Yes, no.
I personally hear a little robotic still.
Okay.
I don't know. Oh, maybe no.
This is me talking. Am I a human? Am I a robot? Okay, it's still.
I think still roboty a little bit. Yeah, I mean, in the meantime, I think just to kind of give some information. SAS aging up with 6, so just to get that age up a little faster. Actually, Valdemar is going for the gold with 1 spear, just kind of to harass.
Jumping in real quick. Do I sound okay?
Yeah, I think right now it's perfect.
Perfect. All right. I did have the fog of war on SAS's perspective. Just trying to see at what point he would scout out that second dock, and the scout eventually gets there, but there is already an archer ship on the field for Valdemar.
I mean, he scouts it out now, I guess, but
yeah,
not the way you want to scout out.
Nope.
Yeah, actually, scratch what I said in terms of ram or anything. He's just gonna, Valdemar's just gonna dock and also push the gold, right? So it's essentially what he's going for. Now, SAS will have Shinobi, and he's also going for Yumi's behind this. Valdemar also docked on his own, or he's going to dock on his own pond, just to have that economy going as well. But he's gonna lose a villager here on the dock that he just oh, maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah, villager survives the ninja attack and steals a sheep from the scout. Sprinkled ship doing a good job there to pick off the shinobi as it moves in to assist with the archer ship on pressuring SAS's dock. Military wing units are now being chased away by Yumi and shinobi. They can't do much to engage at this point, but I'd say Valdemar seems like he's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, he was able to put the pressure that he wants. He was able to get that offensive dock in, and I think he's pretty certain that he's going to win water on the initial pond of SAS. So definitely a disruption to the water economy of SAS. Now, SAS is going for that other pond just to, make fishing ships there. He didn't make too many fishing ships on this dock, so hopefully maybe it's not too bad. He is going to be able to make a lot more units for now, especially with the shinobi. We do have a little cheeky board pull.
Yeah, take this a little closer. Nothing's happening there with that boar. I get to see that. All right, so the push from SAS into the Abbasid base. Oh, why are those 3 villagers running with the Yumis? What's going on there?
That, Abbasid villager Yumi comp.
The classic Japanese strat.
Classic. Exactly.
Yeah, so it
Yeah, I
was
mean,
only 2 fishing ships on that first pond for SAS. He's not losing too much, and I mean, those ships were cheaper. He started to establish himself on the second one, but it is also just a loss of timing, loss of tempo. To not have that fishing income that you were banking on while your opponent is building it up for themselves.
There's a villager being pulled for SAS, trying to go for an offense dock, but it gets picked up or seen immediately, and it looks like SAS is going to be losing that villager to some horsemen.
Ah, that does not
So
feel
unlucky
good.
there.
That feels pretty rotten.
Oh, another boar pull. This time the boar is not, messing around. He is chasing that horseman, right?
He's in there. He's on the shinobi, and the Japanese have to take a little time out of their day to deal with that angry boar. Cannot give chase to the Abbasid anymore. Meanwhile, Valdemar able to add more horsemen and starting to get a good mass of them. We got a fight in the stealth forest. Yeah. Difficult to see, but there are enough yellow horsemen there to deal with the Yumis. Shinobi will eventually fall.
Yeah, the horsemen are also going to take a lot of damage, but now Shinobi are completely gone. So I think definitely trading-wise, Valdemar took a little better of a trade. And he has, 4 fishing ships compared to 3. And right now he has, and he also has 4 more on the other pawn. So definitely advantage to Valdemar in terms of fishing ships and the food income. And Valdemar also is Abbasid, so he's not going to use as much villagers on or as much food on his villagers, so he can pump those horsemen out, right? So, and I mean, when you're making Yumi against Abbasid, who can make so much horsemen, it just doesn't feel great. But
no, not at all.
Definitely interesting.
Well, some of SAS's horsemen able to get in onto the Abbasid archers, and you can see a camel archer being pulled in with the group, help out with that debuff. Finally gets taken down. These 3 horsemen doing a fairly decent job of thinning out Valdemar's units, but have to retreat at this point. They're so low health. And I see the blueprint of another counter dock. Valdemar looking to get established on the northern pond, if at all possible. I think this one might be a little
hopefully
more anticipated by
SAS. Yeah, it might be a little more of a telegraph there. Now I think both players are going for a dock in the same position.
Double dock in the same position, and SAS is going to beat him to it. So that blueprint will go away once a villager gets close enough, or another unit gets close enough to see that you can't build there. SAS will at least just lock down the north pond.
On the left side of the map, this time SAS takes the long way around. You see a raid into the woodland to idle out some vills. But SAS is able to sneak a villager to Valdemar's pond. Now, there is that fishing ship, so he's going to be able to see it. Valdemar is, so he might be able to respond to it in time, especially because he has that horseman and mobility advantage. But I'm not sure if he noticed it, because I don't see a reaction from it. Meanwhile, SAS is able to be on his way to castle.
Yeah, and it looks like he's reacting with land units. He's not committing from that dock to build any sort of naval unit to take down the dock. He's just going to move some horsemen over into position.
Might go up? Yeah. It's very close. But just goes up. Just able to get that dock up as he loses the villager. But at least the dock is up. But, I mean, it's good because Valdemar has so much fishing ships. Well, 7 fishing ships? On the spawn is definitely a nuisance, especially as SAS is going to castle, right? So it's going to be kind of distracting while SAS is able to, do castle things.
Yeah, definitely going to force a rotation instead of, allowing Valdemar some time to come to the Japanese base. Floating Gate does finish up. These 3 horsemen, or 2 horsemen and a scout, I should say, are in trouble. The entire Abbasid army is starting to join the chase. They are running back to the Japanese base. You see walls coming out, trying to keep the villagers protected, but we got a Shinto priest in the middle of everything. SAS sees it, not sure if it's going to be in time. No, not able to sneak through.
The camel archers did no favors for SAS there. Actually, interestingly, I don't think SAS is building any ships from that offensive dock. He's just gonna get that dock emplacement and kind of just force Valdemar to make ships, to defend. But he's not gonna make, I guess, for now, he's
Right.
not gonna make any ships from there.
Gonna open with the naval arrow slits to just be really annoying and force like an actual response from Valdemar. Like the one sprinkled ship isn't gonna cut it. Unless, these fishing ships come over and heal it. It's still gonna be a protracted, extended battle for that dock.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, losing that Shinto priest, is definitely huge because a big advantage of building castle, obviously, for SAS is trying to get a play on those relics. But, yeah, those Yumis in the middle of no man's land are definitely going to have a hard time.
Yeah, sitting ducks, unfortunately, gonna get picked off. I mean, we do see a few horsemen and a mounted samurai from the Japanese coming around to harass Valdemar, who has now taken over the southernmost pond. Could do some damage there. We'll see if they'll pick up the Vil. And they're going to ignore the dock for now and circle around.
If you look at the top pond, Valdemar was able to get a dock up with... I don't know why that archer ship was idle for the whole time. He almost got the dock up with the archer ship right next to it. I don't know what was happening there, but SAS had to manually target it.
That's weird. Weird glitch. I wasn't aware that your military ships could become idle.
Yeah. Thankfully, because if SAS loses this pawn, it's that essentially over, right? Because the income, Baltimore's able to have access and control over 3 pawns at that point is already a huge advantage. And you can see it from the units, right? Valdemar just has so many units out on the field, and SAS is hardly able to keep up. And behind that, Valdemar's also able to age up with Culture Wing.
Yeah, he's struggling to keep up, and it is a shame that those relics still remain on the map. SAS has been in castle for a while, but Valdemar's been doing such a good job of keeping him contained inside that base. Only a couple of raiding parties here and there really coming out, and they're not doing all that much. You see these mounted samurai and the bannermen trying to find their way back home.
It doesn't look body good. Block and kills everything. Yeah. I mean, another thing is Abbasid with this food income, with this economy, is able to, stay in fuel for a good long while. Able to use his economy to kind of put pressure and kind of suffocate the opponent. Especially because you have those camel archers, right? You have those spears, those camel archers, and you have those other units to be able to counter the any units that SAS is able to make, especially those heavy units. That gives normal ships such a hard time in Castle Age.
Yeah, mounted samurai don't feel as good going into camels with spears behind it. But SAS needs to find something soon. We're setting up for potentially another engagement in the middle. Valdemar in the stealth forest.
Yeah. He feels like he needs to push the issue, but the problem is even without the age up and without the upgrades, Valdemar is pretty confident in taking this fight.
Yeah, and he's dishing out a lot of damage here. Got a Yumi Bannerman trying to do the best that they can. Yumi Ashigaru trying to pick off spears as much as possible. Still a good amount of mounted samurai alive. But Valdemar hits castle, and SAS has not secured a relic quite yet. Did see a Shinto priest move into the middle of the map, but no relic advantage there.
Yeah, I think he picked one up to put it behind his base, so he secured one of them. Of course, he doesn't have what's it called, a shrine, or?
Yeah, I think it's
Majig.
The building where you store that.
The building. But yeah, it's just gonna be one relic and one back on the way. Actually, he's gonna be able to get the third one, hopefully. on the middle as well. So Relics is definitely advantage there, but all things
This
considered, the
regular
Yuumi are
fight,
actually doing work.
yeah, they're doing work. It just doesn't feel like they're doing enough work. SAS is being pushed back further and further. Uma Bannerman joins the fight. Although the spear numbers are finally starting to thin, and now the Mounted Samurai are able to take the engagement. And SAS not looking terrible here, but we'll see what happens when Valdemar's reinforcements join in.
Well, actually, SAS is able to burn that southern dock by Valdemar with just one horseman over the last couple of minutes. So it's good for SAS, but yeah, definitely 3 lake advantage is showing here as Valdemar's able to slowly push the advantage.
Yeah, it just feels like there are more reinforcements and they get here faster. As now crossbows and Ghulam forming the backbone of the Abbasid military. Well, we've reached a point where it's like a stalemate and neither wants to commit any further.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a good long fight in the middle, one pushing the other player a little farther and then gets, the advantage kind of situation. So it's kind of a pretty even fight, all things considered, in the middle. I did not think it was going to be even. So maybe Valdemar should have, looking back, kind of waited to take that fight, but hindsight is 2020, right? So
yeah, not game ending for him, but yeah, a little surprised that SAS was able to hang in there as long as he did. I'm also taking a look at where the Yoroshiros have been dropped off. No surprise to see one in a forge and in a stable, but we got one in a house as well. Trying to get that passive food, knowing that you're at a food deficit because you only got 1 pond active versus 3. As Valdemar is able to remake that dock.
Yeah, I mean, Valdemar SAS definitely wants to try to make a play for at least 1 more pawn so that it can be a detriment to Valdemar's economy and also try to even out the food income that way. But
oh, the walls come down in time. There are Onimusha behind this, which will be able to range and kill these villagers. The wall comes in. The Mounted Samurai cannot advance any further, and Valdemar is going to wrap his army around the back here, looking to cut off some sort of retreat.
This could be bad.
Yeah, this is a pretty expensive group of units for SAS. Especially, you can see Valdemar's military count just shooting up in number.
Yeah, he's going to lose a good amount of these knights. Definitely not a loss that especially at a disadvantaged position as far as the water economy goes. But a lot of food for SAS right now. Yeah, I think he's just queuing more units. Just going to use them right now. But going to Horseman as well, going to Onobagisha. So a lot of different units, a pretty diverse comp from SAS to counteract. The other thing is, Valdemar as the Abbasid and Castle Age is going to have access to a lot of different stronger units. And it's going to be, I mean, he's pushing right now, and it's going to be pretty hard for SAS to hold, it feels like.
Yeah. There's a big difference in the number of units. It's going to take some tricky defense here for SAS to hold on. See if you can force them into some choke points, take the good fights there. Let the Onimusha do work from the back, the Yuumis do work from the middle, and just hope that front line stays alive. Front line holding on as much as it can. Onobagisha are there to take out the spears, but the Onimusha have to start falling back. You can't be losing those right now. And the front line has melted. Abbasids have pushed through. It's just Yuumi and Onimusha.
Completely melted. There's not a single melee unit almost. I guess one Onobagisha, but it's just kind of overrun, SAS is, at this point.
He's relying on some of that static defense to keep him in the game, but the crossbows will make work of that Katana Bannerman. And there's just nothing left for SAS. Valdemar, 56 military to 10, chilling under the Japanese town center. Up 3 pawns to 1. Units coming over to start picking off Japanese villagers around that dock. Pressure to the north. Pressure in the production. SAS with just no military.
Yeah, SAS trying to go for a little bit of a siege play, but at this point, there's nothing to protect your siege, and it's going to be really difficult. Now, the raids up top, the villagers were able to, stand up for themselves a little bit with the help of some archer ships, but it's just kind of a temporary protection because a lot of SAS's economy is idle at this point, and he has obviously an overwhelming disadvantage in terms of army. And Valdemar is just going to keep pushing.
Yeah, those rams moving into the barracks at this point. Springled in the back, trying to thin out the numbers. You see Shinobi being called just to have a unit on the field, the high DPS. Trying to cut through on the Ghoulam, take them out. But once again, the front line falls. The 2 Springles are exposed. We'll be retreating back to the town center.
Yeah, actually, Valdemar's army is thinned out a little bit. Maybe he stayed a little too much under TC, but the Ram's doing work to kind of kill the production a little bit. That tower, I think he has a Springald emplacement. Yeah, that tower has been doing a lot of damage over the entirety of the fight, so definitely something that helped out SAS, and he's actually able to kind of remaster a little bit. The problem is the eco is so kind of disadvantage for him. I think Valdemar is actually going into horsemen as well right now.
I see Valdemar adding archers, crossbows, horsemen. Battle under that tower still rages on. Mounted samurais desperately trying to protect it. Take out that ram. Just make sure the tower stays up a little bit longer. Springled goes down. Another one pops out of the siege workshop. Walls coming on the east side of the base, but there's still pressure in front.
You know what the important thing here also is that now SAS is kind of out of gold. Especially on this map, sometimes the goals will be towards the side, right? So you can actually deny the goals with water control. So the opponent has control over the pawns. Now SAS is cut off from that gold on that right side because Valdemar's on that pawn. And Valdemar just keeps pushing, even though this Springle Tower, like I said, is doing a lot of damage. He's kind of using his economy to just make a ton of units. But, you know, SAS
it's a meat grinder, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, constant stream of units, but that Springle Tower is definitely the MVP of this game, if anything. I mean, it's been so much damage.
Wish we had a kill count. We could look up for that outpost. I'd love to know just how many units it was able to take out. But yeah, SAS unable
Somebody
to
call
take this.
Cal. We need a tower kill count.
Get him on it. Yeah, gold going to be an issue. SAS lucky to have 3 relics and 2 Yoroshiros in forges, so there is some income, but it's a third of the amount that Valdemar has taken in.
Yeah, now it's not as... Now Valdemar has kind of taken a step back and remasked instead of streaming units in little by little, which is not what you want to do, you know, against a TC fire and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, that's enough, right? Once you have that big mass, SAS realizes it's just not a situation he can come back from.
Yeah, just not seeing the way forward.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, just didn't have that gold accessible. Knew he was down in food. Tried to hold on, held on for quite a long time. Valdemar with a better economy. Just able to...
Yeah, he actually didn't take too much villager loss in that dive. He did lose all of his military in his front mat. So that's obviously a huge problem. But the static defenses did give him another chance just to kind of try to regroup. But it's just going to be on and on because Valdemar has 3 pawns, right? 3 pawns in
Mm-hmm.
Abbasid. It's just kind of difficult. Interesting that the aggressive play from Abbasid in a fast H2 worked. That felt like sometimes that can be
It can be a risk.
not
It can
as
certainly
successful.
be, yeah, a gamble. But yeah, you were talking about like Valdemar does need to pull out something a little different going against the Japanese, just because they are so strong of a civ on 4 lakes, and with uh, let me update this real quick with the Japanese. Oh, sorry, with the Abbasid, with that aggression, uh, really prevented SAS from doing much of anything. You think back to like critical moments of the game. The one that stands out to me is just that counter dock from Valdemar not getting scouted out until there
Yeah.
was a ship inside of SAS's fishing economy.
Yeah, exactly. And that kind of gave Valdemar the tempo that he needs, so that he can also, all the while, he's trying to be aggressive and killing the 2 ships and delaying the water economy from Japanese on this map, all the while also having his own dock. And the counter dock, offensive dock attempts by SAS was actually, um, scouted immediately. Maybe he should have kind of tried to sneak around a little bit, but the horseman got the first fill, and the second offensive dock got the dock up, but it was pretty simple for him to be able to, or for Valdemar to be able to get rid of the dock with horsemen and some ships. So didn't hurt him so much. At the end of the day, there's 3 docks or 3 pawns for Valdemar, and only one for SAS.
One for SAS, yeah, kind of the 1-2 punch of not scouting out that early counter dock, and then not being able to get your own counter dock established. Valdemar in the right place, in the right time, slowing that down. And then, with the stronger economy, just holding in there. Saw a lot of back and forth in the mid game, in the middle of the map. Feel like SAS taking some advantage there, but as soon as Valdemar was comfortably set up in Castle Age, you can see the military production completely outscaling SAS's.
Yeah, definitely well played by Valdemar, taking on some hard matchups. Traditionally, on I guess current meta, hard matchups for Abbasid, but um, taking them on confidently and with a game plan. And even though on paper it might look like it's probably not a great situation to be in for the Abbasid, but he was able to kind of, you know, against
He played it
HRE,
well, yeah.
yeah, against HRE on a map that is pro scouty, and versus Japan on a certified Japanese map essentially. So definitely well played, well deserved.